The town of Riverton had always been a place where time seemed to move at its own pace. Nestled between rolling hills and the sparkling River Tamor, Riverton was known for its historic clock tower that stood proudly in the town square. This clock, a relic from a bygone era, was more than just a timepiece. It was a symbol of the town's resilience and the heart of many tales. One such tale, often whispered among the townsfolk, was about a group of heroes who beat the clock in the most unexpected way. The town of Riverton had always been a place where time seemed to move at its own pace. Nestled between rolling hills and the sparkling River Tamor, Riverton was known for its historic clock tower that stood proudly in the town square. This clock, a relic from a bygone era, was more than just a timepiece. It was a symbol of the town's resilience and the heart of many tales. One such tale, often whispered among the townsfolk, was about a group of heroes who beat the clock in the most unexpected way. It all began on an ordinary autumn afternoon. The townspeople were busy with their daily routines when a sudden tremor shook the ground. The clock tower's chimes, usually a comforting sound, rang out in a frantic, irregular pattern. Alarmed, the townspeople gathered in the square, eyes fixed on the tower. Among them were four unlikely heroes: Emma, a resourceful librarian; Jake, a quick-thinking mechanic; Sophie, a courageous firefighter; and Leo, an astute historian. Mayor Grant, a portly man with a kind face, addressed the crowd. "Something is terribly wrong with the clock tower," he said, his voice trembling. "If it stops completely, legend says, Riverton will face an unimaginable disaster. We need a team to investigate and fix whatever is causing this." Emma, Jake, Sophie, and Leo exchanged determined glances. They had often discussed the tower's mysteries over coffee at Emma's bookstore. Now, they felt a calling to protect their beloved town. Armed with tools, knowledge, and a sense of urgency, the four friends entered the clock tower. Inside, they found a labyrinth of gears and cogs, all interconnected in a complex dance. The tower's interior was a marvel of engineering, but it was clear that something had gone awry. Emma, with her extensive knowledge of old texts, found an ancient manual hidden in a dusty corner. "This manual might hold the answers," she said, her eyes scanning the yellowed pages. "It talks about a central gear that controls the entire mechanism. If it's misaligned, the whole system could fail." Jake, ever the pragmatist, inspected the gears closely. "I see the problem," he said, pointing to a large gear that was out of place. "We need to realign this gear, but it's not going to be easy. It's rusted and stuck." Sophie, with her strength and determination, stepped forward. "I'll help with the heavy lifting," she said, grabbing a wrench. "Leo, can you find a way to slow down the mechanism so we can work safely?" Leo nodded and began studying the manual alongside Emma. "According to this, there's a lever that can temporarily disengage the main gear," he said. "It should buy us enough time to fix the alignment." With their plan in place, the team sprang into action. Leo found the lever and, with some effort, managed to pull it. The deafening noise of grinding gears ceased, replaced by an eerie silence. Time was quite literally in their hands. Jake and Sophie worked tirelessly to realign the gear, their muscles straining with each movement. Emma and Leo provided guidance, ensuring that every adjustment was precise. As they worked, they felt the weight of the town's hopes resting on their shoulders. Hours passed, and the sun began to set, casting long shadows inside the tower. Just as fatigue threatened to overwhelm them, they heard a satisfying click. The gear was back in place. Jake wiped the sweat from his brow, and Sophie let out a sigh of relief. Leo, with a nod from Emma, pushed the lever back into its original position. The gears roared to life, and the clock hands began to move steadily once more. The familiar, rhythmic chimes echoed through the town, signaling that time was back on track. Exhausted, but triumphant, the four heroes emerged from the clock tower to the cheers of the townspeople. Mayor Grant shook their hands, gratitude shining in his eyes. "You have saved Riverton," he declared. "Your bravery and teamwork have restored more than just our clock. You've restored our faith in each other." In the days that followed, the story of how Emma, Jake, Sophie, and Leo beat the clock spread throughout Riverton and beyond. The clock tower, once just a symbol of the town's past, became a testament to the power of community and the strength found in unity. Years later, the clock tower still stood tall, its chimes a constant reminder of that fateful day. Emma continued to share the tale with young readers at her bookstore. Jake fixed anything and everything in town. Sophie trained new firefighters with stories of courage, and Leo documented Riverton's history with pride. They remained heroes in the eyes of the townspeople, not just for what they did, but for who they were, friends who came together in the nick of time to beat the clock and save their town. And so, the legend of Riverton's clock tower and its heroes lived on, a timeless story of bravery, teamwork, and the enduring power of time well spent.